It's time for another Premier League match preview. Not a review, I was about to say review, but match preview. And it is the return fixture of Wolverhampton Wanderers. We travel to the Molineux on Thursday night. Now, usually I do my match previews the day before, but what's happening on the day before? We got episode three of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I gotta tell you, I'm amazed by how quick time seems to fly. Because we only run that show once a week, and the fact we're on episode three means we've already covered 3 weeks. Well, I'd say 3 weeks. I think it's actually technically 2 weeks worth of time. But I'm going to count it as three anyways because why not? It's time flying by, and time flies when you have fun, and doing that show is a lot of fun. So expect episode number 3 tomorrow night, I believe 8:30 p.m. and all of that good stuff. Make sure to tune in for that. It will also be streamed from this channel, I'm sure, as the previous two have also been. So all of that good stuff. Make sure to tune in for that one. But whilst you're here, do make sure to smash a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and all of that good stuff. And get us on the road to 160. That's the next. That's the next milestone on the grand road to 200. Do it in centuries of subscribers and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit slow at the moment, but progress is progress. Big or small does not matter. Any progress is warranted. Any progress is appreciated, and it's all thanks to the magnificent people that do subscribe to the channel, but also do tune in to watch the content. So thank you very much to all of you. Wolverhampton Wanderers away. Now this is a tough one to call. Tough one to call, as in Wolverhampton Wanderers. Tough team to play from time to time. I think sometimes teams get easier days against Wolves, but when Wolves want to be difficult to play against, my goodness gracious me, they are very stubborn, and quite difficult to play against. And Manchester United, we're not usually the sort of team that really sort of gets the rub of the green against teams that make it tougher to play against. They usually actually best us. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to this game from a spectacle of a Manchester United supporter who tries to back his team to win games. When the reality is that we know when games are going to be a tough watch. We know when games are going to be difficult for this team, where other teams around our sort of level should find it more than relatively simple in the approach to actually playing a good game of football and getting a positive result and deserving to get a positive result. Manchester United, we like to do everything in every which way. That does not signify simplicity or positivity. It's all relatively doom and gloom when you spend your evenings or afternoons to sit down and actually watch Manchester United play, and it's a really tough watch, really difficult watch. And I think this sort of game is probably going to be something that fans might watch just in the hope of seeing Manchester United lose again, which is more than likely. But then in the other side of things, it's just everybody else would look at that game and think, there's no entertainment value in this. Now, with that being said, they probably end up, just we just deliver on like the most amazing game of football you've ever seen. It would just be very, very typical for Manchester United to to do that, because most things that I seem to call with Manchester United nowadays, as far as game predictions go, the opposite tends to happen, or just in general match predictions. I seem to not be a very lucky individual. Maybe I'm just a bad omen. It might just be me being a bad omen. Who knows? I've called myself being a bad omen and many other things before, so maybe football's just another case of it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyways, bad omen or not, we drink to it. Mm. The milk is out again tonight. The milk is out again tonight. I've got football scores currently going on at the moment of recording on the right hand side. Luton Town beating Brighton 4-0. Well, I said 4-0. It's actually 3-0. They had their fourth goal ruled out for offside, but Brighton, ooh, that would get a lot of people saying, yeah, De Zerbi replaced Ten Hag. I mean, that's probably going to give them second thoughts, to be honest. Don't fancy, De Zerbi, Manchester United getting slapped up by Luton. Because Brighton aren't as dead of a club as us at the moment. So, it's tough times. And but there's a lot of hope, I'd say, that we can say with Manchester United's case. Yeah, we've got the talk of the director of football looking to appoint the new director of football within the next few weeks. That could be a long issue. It could be a short issue, and it probably does somewhat tie in to the to roughly about the sort of time when they expected ratification to be completed, and that the approval is passed and all of that stuff. So maybe that's sort of where they're sort of conclusively drawing up the time frames between these processes. And you know what? When ratification story comes out, I think that's when you could perhaps start to see a apparent change in speed, change in pace, change in intensity in how everything starts to be done at Manchester United Football Club. So that's what I'm hoping for, at least. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. We'll have to observe as things happen, as things unfold. Well, I'll tell you what, Brighton, now they're about to be 4-0 down because it's said that there's a big chance about to be scored here. So, yeah, clapped scenes for Brighton and mighty Luton Town about to have the best game of the week, about to be the Kings, the MVP team of this game, this game week. So, yeah, unlikely candidate, but you know what? Fair plays to Luton. Fair plays to them. Probably a favourite team to go down as well. So yeah, so it's a difficult time for Brighton. Difficult evening for Brighton. It's madness, man. Like they can go from beating Spurs 4-2 to losing 4-0 to Luton. I mean, God only knows what goes on in that club. But Wolverhampton Wanderers, our return fixture, or the opening game of the season against Wolves, we beat them 1-0. We completely did not deserve to win that game 1-0. We deserved to lose that game, and quite comfortably. I think they managed. I think it was the second or the most amount of shots conceded to a single team at home in Premier League history. I think the other team was Chelsea. Can't remember what season that was. I think it was like early 2010s or late noughties or something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to quite pan out the same way as the first game. I think it's probably going to be a few differences that we'll notice. I think in terms of chance creation, it should be different. I think the team structure is different for Wolves as it is for United now versus what it was back at the start of the season. I think Wolves definitely still got quite a few dangerous players, good technical quality players. Manchester United, I think there's predominantly negatives, but there are still some positives to sort of pay attention to. I think one of which Rasmus Højlund, and it's a bit frustrating that Rasmus Højlund to me has got to be a positive here, because it's like I can't sing his praises right now on the basis that we don't see enough involvement from him. And to me, it's not really through any fault of his own. And that's the thing that annoys me most about this whole situation, striker wise. There's not really a lot of chance or involvement for these players who play in the number 9 position. There's not a lot of opportunities to really do anything or have impact on these on games of football. And Rasmus Højlund, for a guy that's young, who's still in a very very much in the height of his developmental phase of stage of his career, he's essentially meant to be the guy to lead the line at his age, and that on its own is usually quite a difficult feat to do. But look at everything else around him. Look at the average chances that he'll get per game. Some games he'll get the ball constantly coming through to him, but then every other game he's thinking, right, based off of last game, in training I'm going to work on being more clinical. So he works on getting more, being more clinical, having better composure in front of goal, taking his chances. The next game comes along, he gets no chances. And then he's thinking, well, any chance I do get, it's not a clear-cut one. It's not a good chance. I have to do some absolute madness to really make this work. And I'm not really at the stage of my career where I've honed my craft enough to actually create more chances for myself, or to make better of what's there. And that's just we can say that that's just simply because Rasmus is just more of a goal scorer. He's just a finisher. That a lot of the work needs to be done on the pitch, and the ball needs to then be played to him in the final third. But supply him enough opportunities to actually get his conversion rate up, to actually be able to get on the score sheet more. And fair plays to him, despite literally working a graveyard shift, is still getting goals here and there. And I think he, on the cusp of 10 goals for this season in all competitions. I think he's currently sat between I think it's like 8 or 9 goals in all comps. Which, you know what, at this stage of the season, if he surpasses, I think 11 goals for United this season, it's an improvement on his goals tally in Serie A. And that would be a positive for me. That would be a bonus for him, especially for somebody who can look back on things and say, well, integration season was not great for me, but I still managed XYZ amount of goals. When I've got a functioning team and a bunch of players around me that are actually doing what they can for each other, that should it should give me much more opportunity to score way more goals. And that's what I think should be the focus, especially if you are someone like Erasmus Højlund. And I think it was Dimitar Berbatov said, I think it was either Dimitar Berbatov or Eric Cantona, saying that one thing, I think it was Berbatov, said that one thing that Højlund cannot afford to do at this point is to be perceiving things right now too negatively. Stay on top of your game and just keep working on developing your ability. The team around you is going to undergo some ridiculous amounts of changes. And I mean ridiculous amounts. Guys in that team that, if not for Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Ineos, they would still be like signing extensions and signing contracts where they're going to see almost up to like 2028, 2029, contract length like that. And so we'll probably still continue to see bad decisions being made. Not to say that bad decisions will stop completely, but I think it's going to get a lot better. I have to say that it should get a lot better. It's not going to be perfect by any means, but even slightly good is still better than what we're currently dealing with. So, yeah, for me, Rasmus Højlund, I think just hold in there. Just keep trying to do the best that you can do. And I will start to, pay much closer attention to your development as a player when there is a team that is developing a new ethos, a new club ethos, and a new work ethic, and seeing how that environment develops over time as well. So, yeah, to me, you might have to play a little bit of a waiting game. I wouldn't imagine you have to wait too long, though. I wouldn't imagine that you have to wait too long. He definitely needs another striker, first team quality striker in this setup to really sort of get him to push himself up the levels here. So I think him just being the star striker or the lead striker in this team is just it's all wrong. That he should not be anywhere near. If it was up to me, if I were to have everything my way, he's third/fourth choice striker. Like he's that far down the pecking order, and for what he's, if he stands at a third/fourth choice striker in in my opinions, he's doing an all right job for himself this season. As baffling as that is, but that's just it. We shouldn't have a team where your starting striker is a third/fourth choice option. It should be a first choice option that starts, and we haven't got that. So he's making good for an unideal situation. So fair plays to him. As for the rest of the team, I mean, Onana's probably going to be starting this game because obviously Cameroon got knocked out of AFCON. Onana pretty much played next to no games, barring one, I think it was. It's like the second game. He was dropped for the first one that he tried to make after Tottenham. And then he played the second game. And then I think it was the third and fourth game he was dropped for again. And past that, that was it. That was AFCON done for Cameroon. So straight away, Onana's back into England, back into Manchester. And he's probably going to most likely start the next game. And to be honest, I wouldn't. I would go with Bayindir again. I'll go with Bayindir again because I think he didn't really do anything wrong in the game against Newport County. Kept everything simple. Did everything he needed to do, and I think you need to give him another opportunity to build and expand upon his his first appearance. See how far this goalkeeper can go, and I think if you do that, it provokes Onana to have to work harder to really fill some boots that so far he's done an absolutely horrendous job at filling, and on that basis. I'd have to look at this project Onana and say that it's just been a complete failure. So for me, he'd almost essentially be on the chopping block. So don't know what everybody else thinks about Onana, whether you guys would sell him this summer and just call it and say, well, yeah, call it a day on Project Onana. He's not cut out for this club. He might be a good modern goalkeeper, but he's just not cut out for this club. And sometimes it hits for players, sometimes it just misses. And I think this one we could probably just say is a miss, and it's not nice, it's not ideal, especially considering that we've got so many other positions that we need to address. yeah, it would just have more work in the summer to do, and I just don't. Uh, I think it's just a bitter pill that we're going to have to swallow. That we're going to end next summer transfer window with 3 or 4 positions that we wanted to strengthen in, but are unable to, perhaps due to funds or whatnot. We'll have to see what the reason behind it would be if if the situation does occur. Now, I'll be really, really impressed if we sort of go into next season and say, well, there's not really anything outstanding that this team is missing. But maybe you could sort of, if you straight away take the conversation from first team needs XYZ to we could do with an extra player or two in for quality wise in depth. Straight away, it's like you've addressed all the critical, like mission critical points, and there's so many at the moment. If you address all of those, and I'm starting to talk about the strength on the bench, that's progression, like mad progression. And if we can have those sorts of conversations, then I will know that Ineos would have done a good job, and we'll have to see if that does come to pass in the summer. But you know that's in the summer. This is now. We've got to sort of go with what we've got. And to be honest, for me, as far as goalkeepers concerned, Bayindir starts for me. I think the the back four, I'll probably go with the same sort of team. They're probably the intention is probably going to be the same team. You'll probably have Shaw, Martinez, Varane, and I think it was Diogo Dalot playing at right back. So keeping things relatively similar. I think Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo. Again, yeah, it's a partnership that I do like to see. I would like to see more of, just to see how far does it go, because it's a partnership I've called for. It's a partnership many people have called for, and I think we should look into it. We should look into it. We should assess that and give them some time to sort of build a sort of working partnership in that midfield, build a semblance of understanding without needing to chop and change the starting 11, and get a bit of momentum. So for me, that's my midfield partnership. Ahead of them, it's not really anybody else barring Bruno, to be honest. I think Bruno's going to end up playing in the number 10 position. As far as the wingers, I think uh, Rashford's been given the green light, I think, to come back into this team. So Rashford's probably going to start. But for me, Garnacho, who realistically plays on the left here? Do you save Garnacho to play him on the right, or do you play perhaps someone like an Amad Diallo on the right? For me, I think Amad Diallo. We've got Pellistri, who's was pretty much gone on loan to Granada. So best of luck to him. It's a shame, but I think Amad Diallo should be in contention. It's probably most likely going to be Antony starting on the right again with Garnacho on the left. If that, or Marcus Rashford starts instead of Garnacho, or Antony is benched and Rashford plays on the right. Somehow, some way, if Rashford's got clearance to play this game, Ten Hag's trying to force him in, 100%. And of course, then Højlund up top. But let me know what your guys' anticipated 11s. What sort of a team that you put out there? Any key players, key partnerships, or key factors in your teams that you would want to see, that you would look to see get some game time on Thursday night. And for me, that's my team. What I think the scoreline is going to be, nothing special. It's going to go either I think it could either be something like a 1-1 type draw. Maybe somebody gets a winner. Maybe. And that's just it. Maybe somebody gets a winner. And there's no telling. There is no telling who it is that gets that winner. So for me, I'm going to run with a 1-1 draw. Of course, results completely and utterly inconsistent. So we won our last game. This one's, perhaps entails that we won't see the same sort of result. But if we do, then of course, pleasantries. I'll be happy with that. But yeah, it's just kind of the cards that we dealt with. Um, but yeah, that's my verdict on this game. I can't imagine things will be this very much the same from the opening game of the season. If things do go the same way, and we don't see a win or something like that from a jammy goal from a defender, um, then it's very clear and obvious that we've had no progression, because I suppose that's the thing. The games where you were second best, when you get the second opportunity to go at this team again, and to do better, and if you do worse, that's you essentially not moving, or worse off, regressing. So I'm hoping to see that things are different this game, but that it is an improvement. I want to see improvements. I want to see Wolves' opportunities, their chance creation to be a little more indirect. I want them to have to work harder to create their chances. I want Cunha to have difficulties in getting shots away. Whether it's I think it's Huang He Chan. I think it plays as one of the wingers. I don't know if he's still on international duty, so it's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting for. Um, as for other players in Wolves' team, I am not too sure. I've not really got, say, scout reports as such. I don't have the time to really look into things like that. But I can imagine that it's going to be a tough game, tough afternoon, tough evening, and it's not going to be a fun watch. It's not going to be a fun watch. You'll get the match reaction come straight after the game, but before then, tomorrow night we're looking 8:30 p.m. It's going to be the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Show, episode 3. So make sure to tune into that show. We will be over there. It will also be live streamed from this channel as well. So if you do watch on this channel, big ups to you all. I will have the links to the other two panelists' channels featured in the show descriptions, so you can go and subscribe to both other gentlemen that will feature on the show, or should feature on the show. But anyways, that's it from me for tonight. Big ups to everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. Swig a shot of chocolate milk. All in the works of bringing some good fortune for Manchester United Football Club on Thursday night. We'll have to see how it all pans out. But yeah, do be sure to join me for tomorrow. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Show, episode 3, and then also for the match reaction straight after the Wolves versus Manchester United game. Until next time, we'll see you on I was about to say see you on the flip side, but that's just I don't know why I don't like that. I don't like that phrase, but it is what it is. But I'll give you one phrase to end on. We're doing this for the greater good. The greater good. We'll see you next time. Take care.